Ladies and gentlemen,
we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. We have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. We have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause.
It is none other than the Bricklayers coming to you live and direct. Here we go.
We have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause.
To all my peoples out there, just want to say what's up.
We have to
it's
go
Friday night, you know what time it is.
We have to go to the root. We have to go to
we live and direct as always. This is Goes Nothing Podcast on the Friday night live stream featuring the Bricklayers.
We have to go to the root. We have to go to the
adjusting my audio levels here.
We have to
bring it down a bit. Just want to give a shout out to everybody tonight. I see I already got some peeps tuned in. I'm trying to get my Instagram live together. Tonight we got another special show for you. First, I want to say thank you to everybody that's been tuning into all the other shows that you can find on our YouTube channel at Bricklayers Media. But tonight, the party continues as we bring you live DJ with my DJ, the number one DJ in the country, in the planet. And you can fight me on that. His name is Ron Do the Lyrical Ginsu.
We have to go to the
I know him as Lil Skip though.
We have to go to the root. We have to go.
So we about to get busy, man. Tonight, this show is going to be about anger management. Our special guest tonight is going to be Delvin Rogers Sr. coming in live on the Zoom to tackle some issues about anger management. He runs a program called HGN So we'll bring him on about 10-15, let him break it down about what he's about, what his program is about, how he's helping kids and reaching and touching and saving lives. So for now, we just gonna blast y'all with some good old music. You know, want to say R.I.P. to Prince Marcus D. We lost another musical legend. And for those of you, you know, listening live on Mixcloud.com and those of you on Instagram, on my live, you can get a better view if you go to Mixcloud.
We have to go to the call.
And that's www.com. www.mixcloud.com/live/Bricklayers/. All right, so Rondo, we'll be hitting them with just some good old Bricklayer, New World cool music that we dropping. I'm gonna let Rondo give you all a taste of this before I come back.
We have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough. And it is because of our effort toward getting straight to the root that people oftentimes think we are dealing in hate.
These niggas need to start talking. I beg no pardons. Tell me how our civilization's dissolving. Tell me why my people's getting scars and seeing bars when everybody else is simply dodging. Tell me how my melanin or the skin I'm in makes me a thug or any other synonym. Tell me why these pigs sin with the pics in and videos they continue to get their licks in. Tell me. Tell me why you taught lies from day one. The book's your liaison and took lives like they done. Tell me if you are God's creation, then why your relation is favoring Satan. Tell me why you want to separate. Because when we separate, you make it your mission to see the end of it.
And bring the
Tell me why
in.
You occupy places my people bought and died.
Give a shout out
homes where
to all those
mothers
people out there on the
Tell me.
West Coast and Texas and that what they going through, a blizzard or something over there? Some kind of ice storm? It's serious over there. While we over here in sunny Florida, as always, in the MIA, where we don't get no kind of weather except for hurricane season.
Tell me why I gotta be scared and prepared to tell my young boys that America will never be fair.
This song
tell
right
me
here,
why I gotta buy a home here and not there when my credit score is soaring.
Tell Me by Ron Do.
Tell me why I'm doing your job. It's so hard.
Yours truly.
Yours and mine's in the end. I'm getting
on the 1 and 2s.
Tell me.
If you don't know, when he's not DJing, he rapping. Hardcore, right? Anything you got to say for the people tonight, Rondo? Before we get too busy?
Just want to thank everybody for logging in, checking us out. We do this every Friday, 10 p.m. We don't come with any clown stuff. We come with serious stuff. Yeah, we clown a lot, but right now, every Friday at 10 o'clock, we come with some serious stuff, for real.
That's definitely what's up. So far, so good, though. How you feel about the show so far, Rondo?
I like it. I mean, the beginning was very frustrating and challenging, a struggle, nervous as well, looking like a bunch of
amateurs?
Yeah, amateurs. But now, as time goes on, it's getting a lot better, I
think that just makes it more authentic.
Yeah.
You know, let them see us fail so they can see when we win. And they can understand the struggle, right?
Yeah.
So tonight we also gonna definitely hit y'all with some Fat Boys music. Gonna give a shout out to Prince Marky D, R.I.P.
It's away from us or aside from us. Just come together.
Hit him with the music, Rondo.
Against the common enemy.
It's a motherfucking takeover. This rap game kinda, I don't know, full of motherfuckers that just really don't know how to flow. And in my opinion, all these motherfuckers gotta go. Let me let you in on my plan. It's diabolical. They write checks that their asses never cash in.
Another headbanger from the Project Studio 2.
It's all part of the boy and part of my master.
Featuring Flawless MC, DJ Abyss.
Number one, if you wax on your tongue, this why I keep a strap
yours truly,
like a cummerbund.
and DJ Ron Do.
It's other than the summer sun, so when they finish their back, it's a motherfucking takeover. This rap game kinda, I don't know, full of motherfuckers that
hey man, you gotta be vibing this like it's my first time hearing it.
All these motherfuckers got it. Let me let you in on my planet. It's a motherfucking takeover. This rap game kinda, I don't know, full of
once again,
that just really don't know.
The number to call is on the screen as well. So you can call us during the Zoom, or you can call us anytime you got questions. We here for you. Tonight is tonight. It's Friday. As my dog said at work, Friday. 10:15, we bring in live Mr. Delvin Rogers Sr. We're gonna tackle anger management, resources issues, what's the problem, we're gonna dissect that. Yo! Once again.
Hey yo, Floor, allow me to introduce Ball and Deuce, Noose from the type beat produce.
Just hang tight and enjoy the music as we warm this up.
And on that note, had me thinking these flipping throwbacks. Nobody knows that a wicked scheme is brewing. And of course, what we doing, leaving them feeling ruined. The opposition that seem to falling asleep, deep like in a trance, he advances with pure technique. Don't speak, people might say he's demonic. Strange, just like the play was more ironic than bubonic. It's iconic if you ask me, even greater than Gatsby gets ghastly. His production is nasty, so lastly, let's put this plan of yours together. Whatsoever we endeavor, make sure that it's clever. To sever empires, willing to cease entire fleets that never aspire. So bring him out as Mr. Black Fire.
When you see me fire run, I run. See you want work to done, it can't done. Come see the bad man, it just a come. And everybody know, me a chat your son. From the fire start fun.
We got about 5 more minutes to go before we start the Zoom call.
I'm in the back, y'all could play the front. I'm a wait and hunt.
Bars.
I'ma make it blunt. There's no intelligence scanning and see no relevance. Damning the youth with negligence. So having is evidence that I care. It's not fair, I declare war on these radio programmers, and I'm sure they got no love for the culture. It's just a paycheck. I know like 45 artists that they ain't play yet, and they will never play unless they get some pay.
Shout out to Gangali.
I kick facts. I hope one day that I open and say we're coming
to
our senses and make it great again like Americans.
We got a few heads tonight, Rondo.
But until then, the war is on. Ain't no sparring here going on.
We got questions?
Trying to right or wrong. Then all together we can write a song. Not an officer of the law, but all my people need to ride along.
It's the Friday Night Live stream. Here goes nothing. Hit him, DJ. Hit him, DJ. Another new world banger. Another one featuring Ron Do. Don't worry, we got y'all. We got y'all. We got y'all. We coming soon.
Every morning on the train number 6, I'm trying to calculate how she can put me in her mix. Every day I think about us being tighter than a fence. The first time I saw her must have been like 2 months. A new face to grace the place I chose once to walk by and say hi, but I didn't. Cause when our eyes met, I turned pussy like a kitten. I kept walking, but my mind kept talking, telling me how stupid I am and doing it often. I wanted to speak, but the words
y'all can DM me if y'all want a copy of these fire hits.
Now I bet she's thinking I'm conceited when I'm exactly the opposite. I need for her.
I think you can find this on iTunes,
I'm contemplating going back
Spotify.
For my lack of
it's called The Apple of My Eye.
The one I come off as a herb. Should I use big words like nerds or keep it simple to the third, which is say hi and leave apologies alone. Ask it
3 minutes.
Can I join her on her throne? Word.
You gonna hit us with some Fat Boys before we get in the Zoom?
There's no way she could pass on that. So
you got time for that?
Man up and cock back.
You gonna hit us with a little bit of Fat Boys before or after? 3 minutes to the Zoom. Then we're gonna go into the Fat Boys tribute. We're gonna close out with that. So tonight is all about anger management. If you have questions, if you interested in trying to figure out how to control yourself, we got the answers.
She's laughing and smiling, he's laughing and smiling. They're holding the same pose, I'm over here silent. Just observing, it's unnerving. Now I'm standing here in this corner like I'm self-serving. Damn, I ain't gel though. I snoozed, I lost. All real, no flaws. That's cool like frost. I can't miss what I never had. But now I'm here thinking, is that really the attitude to have? I probably missed out on a lot in life. Only going for short shots just to avoid the strife. Word. So from this day on,
see, we gotta play our music.
I'm going for mine.
Because YouTube like to censor it when we play anybody else's music, so
imagining all the things I passed up in life.
Best to just be yourself.
For gambling, excitement pouring in. Can't wait to wake up, already feeling born again. The apple of my eye doesn't know I exist. I see her every morning on the train number 6. I'm trying to calculate how she can put me in her mix. Every day I think about us being tighter than a fence.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. A black butterfly floating in my direction. Gotta make up my mind.
A new day, I'm feeling stronger than Hercules. Put up my fist and telling doubt.
I see you.
My chin is up higher than
shout out to my sister-in-law, Martine.
When I walk, you can't believe it.
Who else we got in here? Remember, if you want to see the live video, go to the pin link, www.mixcloud.com/live/bricklayers/. That way you can see the whole show and you can get the full extent.
Not trying to disrespect your man, boyfriend, or lover. She said that dude you saw yesterday, that was my brother. I was hoping you would step up front. I'm glad I waited. Better later than never, I said perfectly stated.
Woo! I guess we should go right on into the Zoom. We still had a minute left, but that's all right. We can go ahead and just bring my brother on in. What's up? Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you.
All
if
right.
you can, round of applause. If you can back up just a little bit. I got like half of your face in the screen.
Oh, okay.
There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. What's up, my brother? How you doing tonight?
Thank you for having me.
Nah, it's our pleasure. We doing this because we trying to do something positive for the community, and we trying to bring on people at all levels. You know, we're not looking for the people at the top. I believe the change started at the bottom with us. And, you know, every week we try to strive to bring somebody else on to pass on information and bring awareness to different subjects. So, you know, I'm glad I was able to get a hold of you. And once again, for y'all that don't know out there, this is Delvin Rogers. I'm gonna let you take it, and unless Rhonda, you got something to say?
Nah, not right now. I don't.
Okay, so why don't you tell us your name, the company, what you're about, what are you doing for the community, and then we can get into some questions.
All right, cool. So again, you know, thank you guys for having me on your show, man. It's an honor. You know, I've always wanted to do a podcast, but now more so than anything because of, you know, the business and, you know, what I'm trying to push out there into the community. But again, my name is Delvin Rogers Sr. The name of the company is titled C.A.L.M, but it's an acronym for Control Anger Limit Madness 24/7. So basically, you know, how that got started, I did an online certification class, you know, for anger management. And, you know, I became an anger management specialist. So once I achieved that, I was like, okay, well, what can I do? So I, went ahead and got my LLC, you know, because I'm like, well, I'm already a full-time teacher, you know, and with anger management, you know, that's a big thing within the community, you know, a lot of anger, frustration and things like that, especially with, you know, COVID, you know, being at the forefront right now. So, you know, you have people, you know, job
frustration,
loss, you know, just a lot of different, you know, situations going on. But, you know, to backtrack, you know, pretty much, you know, working with kids and doing, you know, community services and things like that. That's all I've done, you know, throughout my adult, you know, lifetime. You know, teacher, tutor, mentor. So when this opportunity presented itself, I'm like, you know, this is something that you know, pretty much already know, you know, so do it, you know, in terms of trying to set up class sessions and, you know, working with the youth and things like that, because I mean, I already have the experience in that, you know, so let's turn this thing into a business. So, you know, once I, you know, got the LLC, you know, I pretty much hit the ground running with reaching out to people who I already, you know, knew or met, you know, throughout my lifetime. And, you know, I told them, you know, what I'm trying to do and stuff like that. So I've been getting positive feedback from that. So it's just, you know, me trying to put the name out there and, you know, help as many people as possible, you know, as far as with this anger, because, you know, again, it's a problem with that within our community. But if I could just, you know, help you get through that, then, you know, I'll feel like a better person.
Okay. How long you been teaching, and where you teach, if you don't mind us asking?
I've been teaching full time for 2 years, but I've been, you know, with the Broward County School Board, I want to say for about 6 years. So I work full time now at Franklin Academy in Sunrise.
Oh wow. Okay. My
But,
company delivers there.
Okay. So you know, throughout my you know, workings with the school board of Broward County, I've, you know, been a community liaison, behavior specialist, substitute teacher. So it's been, you know, various positions, you know, that has helped shape me to what I'm trying to do now. So.
Okay. Got something?
So yeah, I take it that you being a mentor thing is what brought you into this situation where you want to do the anger management thing for the kids, correct?
Absolutely. And what, once I obtained the certification for anger management and did the LLC, different ideas just start, you know, clicking in my head because, you know, again, of different jobs that I've had throughout my lifetime. And, you know, I can recall when I worked at the Juvenile Assessment Center in Broward. So, you know, that's where, you know, the juveniles, once they get arrested, that's the facility that they come to. You know, you process their paperwork according to different charges that they have and stuff like that. But from working there, you know, I always wanted to do something for those youth because I felt that, you know, they were too I don't want to say misguided, but they were just too excited to have a charge or charges on their record as though it was a badge of honor, and you could see the aggression there with them for different things that they were involved in. And I was like, it has to be something out there, to deter them from the things that they're doing, which I never saw, because again, I would name guys come in and have a record a mile long, and they were just so comfortable with that, and then you could see the frustration and anger on their face, but again, they were just comfortable with what they were doing, and I don't think it was anybody out there to really talk to them one-on-one. Hey man, why don't you go this route, or what's bothering you, why the frustration, why the anger, so again, once I obtained the certification, I'm like, I have to go back that route, to try and grab some of these young guys and do some positive things with them.
From your observation, would you say a lot of these things that these kids are doing or committing is made out of anger?
I would say at least 85%, anger, and perhaps the other 15 or so just boredom, and idle time, so it's like nobody is there to really tell them, well, hey, you need to go this way instead of that way, so majority of it is anger, a lot of it is just boredom, and a lot of idle time, and they don't, there's nobody around to say, hey man, well, you could have did this, instead of doing that, because if not, then they'll assume, okay, well, that's the right thing to do, and I'll continue to do it until I hear otherwise, or somebody tells me otherwise.
Okay, so when you get a youth like that and you start talking to them, how long, I guess, the process? Do you mentor them for as long as they want, as long as they want to be in contact with you? Is there any resistance to you? Like,
well, I know when I did mentoring, and that was through Department of Juvenile Justice. So that's set up where if they're mandated to do, let's say, anger management, it's based off of how long they're mandated to do it. So let's just say for 28 weeks. You're not gonna get that, that welcoming, feeling with them until probably week 6, week 7, because I mean, you're a stranger to them. They don't know where you're coming from, and they don't feel as though you have their best interest, because again, you're a stranger, and being older than them, oh well, he doesn't know what he's talking about, I'm so used to hanging with this friend or that friend, so what my friends are telling me, that's the right thing to do, but I would say the change comes at least week 7, week 8, you start to like an onion, you start peeling away those layers, and you're getting to know them more. They're getting to know you, and then they see what you really about, because, sometimes they'll have people to come into their, circle that promise things or say one thing and then do the other, and then they lose that trust. So, it's just, speaking to them real, not sugarcoating anything, but, being consistent, because that's the thing, just being consistent, because they may have a situation to where they, kind of let their guard down with certain people, and then they lost trust because that person let them down or whatever. So it's just that consistency that, keeps them engaged.
So if I understand you correctly, a big deal of handling these kids with issues is trying to gain their trust.
Right. And being consistent, because it's just like with anybody, if I'm conversing with you and I have an issue, and I confided in you about something important, and you will want to know, okay, well, this person understands where I'm coming from, and they're trying to assist me with what I'm going through, and I see that they're consistent with helping me with that situation, that's that you really have to deal with juveniles and young adults in that way, because then they'll lose trust, and then they'll go right back to what they were doing from the beginning.
So throughout this whole process, what would you say the percentage of your efforts is trying to gain their trust?
Oh, that's 100%. That's 100%. Because I mean, if not 100%, I don't need to, be doing what I'm doing. Because if I see a young man who's who's having constant, anger issues or what have you, let's start from the beginning, to find out, what's bothering you. But I want to give, my all into that young man or this particular group that I'm working with, just so we could, start from scratch and build, to where you're not as angry as you were, in the beginning. But it's definitely 100%.
Okay, I got a question that came through.
Okay.
It reads, as a parent, is there a certain way to handle kids with anger issues? Like, what advice you give to parents to deal with their kids?
Well, with parents, I think what you have to do is, I know parents may be frustrated when they're trying to get through to their child, depending on the age, because there's a certain approach with certain ages, but you can't really hound, your child. Let's say if it's a teenager, you can't really hound them. You have to kind of step back for them to, give you that approach. Like you could try and find out what the problem is, and give a small solution, but you can't hound, because then they go into what you call a shell, and then they kind of like they're falling back, and then they're more aggressive than they were before. So you want to kind of find out what it is, and that onion effect. You want to try and peel away, situations, but don't hound. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well, what's your problem? And, you need to be doing this or doing that. Now, they're more aggressive and more angry than they were from before. So it's just like, you got to take a subtle approach.
Yeah.
Parents gradually peel those onions.
They can be aggressive and they can hound. And there's a lot of why you can't be like this or why you can't do that. And
right. And that's, and a lot of times the thing is, I mean, cause I'm also a parent. So the thing is, you as a parent, you may think, cause that's your way of thinking. You may think, okay, well, let me get this out of him or her, cause I need those answers right now as to why are you so angry about this, that, and the other,
yes.
Kind of got to take that subtle approach. It's always about subtle, because you go aggressive, they're backing down, and they'll, eventually open up when they feel like it. But then now, as a parent, you may be even more mad because they didn't give you the response you wanted when you wanted it.
Yes.
So it's a delicate and subtle approach.
I think you got to be very open as a parent and, be flexible and try to create a space where your kids can talk to you and and talk to you open and honestly. Because a lot of times parents like to live by that do as I say, don't do as I do rules. And you telling them one thing, you're doing another thing, and then they're looking at you in their mind like, nah, you don't make no sense.
Yeah, and it's it's kind of, again, it's a little delicate because they may look at it as, okay, well, I'm following the guidelines of when I was little and my parents came at me that way, so now it's embedded in them. I have to go at my kids this way because I don't, you're going to do it the way I said it and you're going to do it now, but that's, it's not set up that way now. You have to have it to where it's an open floor to where, your kids are comfortable with coming to talk to you, because if you bite their head off from the beginning, they're going to just, they're going to go into a shell. Yeah. And, I'll talk to, my mom, or I'll talk to my dad when I get ready, because, they need to chill out. They came too aggressive. I don't feel like talking now. Now, nobody wins because the parent is upset because they can't get nothing out of the child, and the child is upset because, you bit their head off. So now it's like, it's aggression in the house, and now you haven't solved anything. You got nowhere. So it's just very, very delicate. Very delicate. So.
Yeah, I'm guilty of biting the head. I do it all the time.
and I mean, and that's just, I mean, it's normal, just from, when I do research and stuff like that, it's normal, because it's like, you just want your child to, respect the situation. You're the parent, respect, the boundaries and things like that. But it's like, if you step back, okay, well, maybe I could have taken this approach or that approach and stuff like that, because nobody wins in the end. If I bite your head off, you're certainly not going to tell me what I wanted to hear, or at least come to me to talk to me about whatever issues you're having. You're stuck.
So is this issue more prevalent in boys, or do you see this with girls, or you only deal with boys?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because I did a survey at my school a couple of days ago. And, I asked mixture of, boys and girls. And these were like 5th graders and also middle school, 6th, 7th, 8th. And I just asked them, when you get, angry, like what are some things that you do? So it was a bigger percentage of girls who stated that, when they get angry, they feel like punching things and slamming doors and not talking to their parents or whatever. And it's over the smallest thing. And every response for getting angry was, not getting my way, not wanting to do things that their parents told them to do and stuff like that, and that lasting effect, 3 to 5 minutes. So imagine, being a 12, 13-year-old and you slamming doors because you didn't get your way, and then you're upset for 3 to 5 minutes, but again, the percentage was a lot higher with the girls than the boys, which I found a little surprising, but that was, their responses. And I was just more surprised at this newer generation as far as slamming doors, because you really couldn't get away with something like that.
No,
not at all. Not at all.
Slamming doors, that door will be off the hinges.
That makes sense.
But yeah, it was interesting to sit down and talk with them and, just find out, why so angry, at such a young age, but you get a chance to hear their side of the story and feedback and stuff like that, and that's really what makes me want to dive into this and work, primarily with, kids and, preteens, teenagers and stuff like that, to really kind of get them to, to understand the cool down period, and just let it run off your shoulders. You can't really get upset about every little thing. So.
Correct. I have a question that just came in. The question goes, do you feel that Black people are looked upon as being angry all the time? And what can we do to minimize that stigma?
I mean, I think that's more so like a media thing, or people on the outside looking in, see us as just aggressive, but I don't see us as, the dominant aggressive people. I mean, what I think people should try and do, which I'm trying to do, is understand the frustration and anger rather than label, because I think that's what a lot of people do right off the rip, just label, or he's an angry Black man, she's an angry Black woman, for whatever. But, get to know people first, and understand, some things that they may be going through or whatever, and maybe, you may have some sound advice as to, what you can do to help. But I think it's a media thing, that just puts that stigma and label on us being, so angry all the time, but there's reasons. And at the same time, being angry is not always negative. It can be a positive, but you're angry for a particular reason. But, I think when, media or people on the outside looking in, just, when they see that, or it's a label, they're just, he's an angry Black man, period. But why is this gentleman or this lady, why are they angry? There's a reason behind everything.
Yeah, they don't like to deal with the root of the issue, just
right.
The response. That's it.
Right. And the thing is, I mean, a lot of times, you know what I mean? And just like you said, with the root of it. So if a young lady or a gentleman is angry, let's get down to the bottom of it. Let's see what's going on. I mean, everybody, gets angry for a particular reason, and if you just throw that that stigma on them, that they're angry, did you find out why? There's a why to everything.
How early do you see the signs, like with kids? At what age can you see that signs like that may be a problem? Like this kid may be having a anger issue.
I think, and that's a good question. I think, and just from, the research I've done, it's as early as 6, and it, as, high as, 18 or adulthood, and that's all with various things. It could be, if you're a preteen or a teenager and, there's no support in the home, or you left home alone a lot. There could be sibling rivalry, just a lot of things, getting fussed at by your parents, cursed out by your parents, different triggers, that I've seen, throughout my experience in working with kids, just different things set different people off. And with kids, they fall into that bubble of, that home life, what's really going on at home. Again, there may be a divorce situation, the mom doesn't like the dad, and, a lot of arguing, maybe violence in the home. And this is what kids see, so if that's something that they're used to seeing, and then, they're going to school, to try and learn a subject or this, that, and other, they're not really interested, because what's going on at home is just embedded in their head, and they can't really shake that off. And it starts early.
Would you say it's a learned behavior?
Yeah, children learn what they see, and it's unfortunate, but they learn what they see, and then they're like sponges, and they, kind of adapt to what they see, and they take it places. That's why a lot of times when, kids with what they pick up, you'll be surprised what they share with a teacher or a counselor or whomever. They'll share it without any, without any problem. They'll share it with whomever about what's going on at home, or, if they were assaulted or abused by a parent or guardian or family member, it's learned behavior. They repeat what they learn and see.
Yeah, I noticed that because my youngest son, he's following his oldest sister's behavior, and I think my daughter has somewhat of an anger issue, and they said it could be environmental, meaning that, when she's at school, she's fine, she's an angel, but when she gets home, it's just something else, like she's just angry.
Right, and it can, a lot of times it may not, it may not be, so to speak, something that you're doing, or your wife, girlfriend, however the situation is. It may not be nothing that you guys are doing wrong. A lot of times it's just sibling rivalry, little brother, older sister, I need my space, I need you to get out of my room, or this, that, and other, so automatically, it's that anger because I don't have that space, to be able to do what I want to do. You're always around. I need you to, just back up and give me a little space. So it's triggers, that set, kids off, teenagers off for various reasons. But we just want to, find out what it is. But that, again, that's the why factor. You have to sit down, and start from that root of, what's making you so angry? Why so frustrated? So we just gotta get back to the root.
Wow. Okay.
I think we have some questions online. Oh, we do. We got DJ Dave Jordan in the house. Want to say shout out to DJ Dave Jordan. That's one of our number one supporters. He wants to know, how much of a fine line are you walking between being seen as a friend versus still being that person of authority?
Good question, Dave. Good question.
That's a good question. You can't go into it with the buddy system or, quickly rewards and things like that. You know what I mean? You have to be stern yet gentle at the same time. You have to let them know why you're there, what you're trying to do, and also let them know that you're there whenever, they need you. You can't go in, and dap and, hey man, I'm gonna be your buddy and we're gonna do this and do that. No, you from the beginning, you have to lay the ground rules down as to what your intentions are, what you expect from them, but at the same time, you're there to help them with whatever it is that they need help with, and that's just how it's going to work, and it's no different than, being a teacher and working with kids and things like that. And you see that where the teacher is way too nice and the ending effect, the kids are going to run wild just because you didn't set that tone from the beginning. So if you set the tone from the beginning, the kids know, okay, well, I know not to do this or do that because, Mr. Rogers is, he's a stickler for this or that. But also let them know, I'm here to help you, but I got to be this way in order to get you to go, this way, and that's just the only way it's going to work.
Wow. So my question would be, not advice, but what type of tactics you use on the kids to help them release that anger, or is there anything of that nature?
Well, I think my approach would be, if I started with a new group of young men, we would have to do an icebreaker. You know what I mean? So I'm introducing myself, I'm having them to introduce themselves, but let's do an icebreaker. You know what I mean? So I can feel the vibe of the room. You know what I mean? And from there, I'm kind of seeing, okay, well, this young man, he wants to participate, but there's still some anger there or whatever. So I'm doing like a check off list of, okay, well, this young man, I'm going to have to talk to him, during the session just to see where his head is at. But with the icebreaker, it's set up to where I can see who's who and who needs the most work, and with the icebreaker, it can be, let's say, a worksheet with different things on there to where you have to, participate and engage with other people in the group. So let's say, find out whose birthday is the same day as yours, find out who likes sports, things like that. So you can kind of get them engaged because that they like some of these things, but now you're having them to interact, and kind of take their mind away from them coming to group and being upset about something that the teacher said to them. Now let's do this icebreaker, to where let me ease your mind away from that anger. And at the same time, now you get to, know other people in the group, but it gives me a chance to see who's who and who's going to need the most work. Because from that icebreaker, you'll quickly see who's really angry, who has extreme anger issues, who doesn't want to participate. But with the one that doesn't want to participate is going to be your best student at the end of their session, because you'll, not saying you'll work with them the most, but you'll find enjoyment in that challenge because you want to see them progress as time go on.
Do you have any students or kids who had an extreme anger issue that you were not able to help?
I would say when I did mentoring, and again, when I did mentoring, that was a group of gentlemen who were a part of Department of Juvenile Justice. So you had quite a few who they were 1 foot in, 1 foot out. They wanted your help, but it's just they felt that they were not ready because they were just so knee deep into street activities to where they just couldn't shake it off. Like they would attend group and participate and, be fully engaged, but it's just, they could not shake off, being part of, outside activities and outside influence and things like that. They were very appreciative of things that we did for them, but it's just, that influence and not changing their environment and changing friends. They were just halfway in, halfway out. So with those, at that point, you have to really go full throttle and do the best that you can. Because again, you're not going to be able to get through to everybody. That's just not realistic. It's not going to happen. But you, at the same time, feel good about yourself because you know that you gave that 100% to get them from point A to point B, but you don't go home with them either. So that part you can't do anything about.
Can't control that. You were gonna say something?
Yeah, does that kind of dampen your morale when you've given your all and you still couldn't get through to some of these kids?
I mean, you do feel, that's just something because it's in your heart for what it is that you're doing and your purpose. So you're gonna feel that, and you're gonna go home. And of course, it's not healthy to take, your work home and think about this situation and that situation, but you feel because you know what your purpose is, and you're gonna think about it because you're gonna kind of question, well, should I have done this? Should I have done that? Could I have done this or that? And it gives you a feel of, did I do enough? But again, you kind of shake that off, and then there's another young man or young lady out there who's hungry for that knowledge, and you trying to help them. So you got to you brush it off after a while.
Okay, we got another question from DJ Dave Jordan. He wants to know, are there any indicators you use to tell the difference if a kid might be bipolar? Because he says, they love to medicate kids these days. So is there any way you can determine that?
Well, with determining, bipolar, that area I'm not, familiar with, because I don't really, get into the self-medications or things like that. It's just, I just go off of attitude and the anger. But, I mean, bipolar, I will probably be able to identify that rather quickly if I'm helping a young man or a young lady and, they're engaging and they're participating, and then they do a quick switch up, but even then I wouldn't label it bipolar. I would try and get down to the root of, okay, well, that was rather quick that you changed your attitude, and try and, ask questions, well, what happened there? Is everything okay? And just based off feedback, you want to try and get to the root of, what's going on. Now, if they don't want to open up at that point, or that behavior becomes, extreme, then we have to take other measures. But, with bipolar, I don't, with the self-medications or medications, I really don't, dive into that. I just try and get down to the root of, what this child is going through at the moment.
Have any of your kids that you help, have any of those situations turned physical or became borderline physical?
No, I've never had that situation.
Oh, good.
I think that's a good one. Not intentionally, but I can think of many years ago when I worked with special needs kids. So in that case, I had a teen to get aggressive, but again, it was part of their condition. So it was like they really didn't know. It was just that's a part of them, and that kid was autistic. So that's just that comes with it. You got to know. Let me back up. With a child being autistic, it goes along with a normal child, because you got to know those triggers. So if the child is autistic, you got to know what to say, when to say it, when to back up, and just allow that child to be them. Because anything said wrong, with a child that's autistic, it's a quick trigger. So even with a child that's that's normal, it's those triggers. You got to know what to say, when to say it. It's about timing. So. But to answer your question, no, I've never had anything, a child to go physical or close to fighting.
Well, it seems like for my kids, the trigger is like clean your room or something like that, and they go nuts.
Yeah, it's anytime you like, let's say, look on the internet, and research some things, and whether the child is 8 years old or a preteen, teenager, it always goes back to something that the parents asked them to do, and then boom, that trigger, it goes from 0 to 100 because they don't want to do it. You know what I mean? And it's just, it's not like they're super busy or they got to get ready for work. It's just the simplest thing that you ask them to do. And it's just that quick attitude change, So it's that, let me act first and then think about it later, So they may give you that attitude right then, and then think about it later, like, okay, well, I might have been wrong how I came at my dad or my mom, So that's just what it is. And it's that prefrontal cortex. They're going to act first, and then think about it later.
What about athletics, like sports? Does that play a role? Like they say, like, let the kids burn off that aggression, let them box, play football. Do you have like the kids that you deal with, are they less likely to be involved in some type of activity?
Well, I would encourage it, burn off that aggression, you know what I mean? But it's what I tell my students, because we just did this as a lesson a couple of weeks ago, find something that you like, and slowly but surely, that aggression will fade, So if you're mad or angry because, you heard, your mom or dad arguing or whatever the case is, if you like to write, go ahead and, do some poetry, get a journal. If you play sports, burn off that aggression, on the soccer field or football field or, run track or whatever the case is, but find something, to where you can find time for you to do something positive rather than just taking that aggression and then taking it a step further, and doing something that isn't right. And now, there's a severe consequence. So just, I encourage sports, but whatever it is that you find fun, do that, burn off that energy, and then, you do that more and more, to the point where that aggression that you always had, it kind of, decreases, and then you're able to do some positive things, because you're going to do something negative. The more angry you are, you're going to do something that you're going to regret later, so we're trying to just bring that down and find that, that's where, the control, and limit, the madness, limit it, so that's what I'm trying to do.
Would you say would you be able to say if there is a generic approach to dealing with anger management, or is each case generally unique?
It all depends. I think it's, some are unique, because again, you're able to see each child and, their aggression levels and, those triggers, so some are very unique because you may say something, to that young lady or that young man that is pretty simple to you, but it's a trigger to them because they're looking at it, in a different context, but it's not how you explained it. So it's just, everything is very delicate, and it's unique. You want to watch your approach, and be careful of some of the things you say, which again may be small to you, because you're just trying to find something out, but it rubbed them the wrong way, and now your approach has to be a lot different. So you're walking, on eggshells, but it's just about, approach and the delicacy, and those triggers, that make the situation unique.
Cool. Might want to check the phone. I think we had I heard it ping. Do we have another question?
No.
Okay.
So this is what you're doing is almost like psychiatry, somewhat.
somewhat, but without the those credentials,
Yeah.
I can't prescribe anything.
Correct.
The only thing I'm prescribing is that knowledge and trying to get kids to understand that control level, self-control. You don't have to walk around being angry all the time. We can talk about it, and you're not gonna have kids that open up right away. That's not gonna happen. You're not gonna get that. But again, you're peeling away those layers. Trying to find out why he's so angry. And they're not gonna share everything with you, and that's cool too. But you want to kind of get them from from A to Z. And that level of decreasing that anger. You don't want them to that anger to fester, and then it leads to something else and this or that. So you want to tackle it, but get to the root. Yeah. And just help as many, kids as you can, because again, in the school system, that's just what's going on. It's a lot of anger there. Kids are, again, like I said earlier, being left alone, or they're seeing violence in the home, or sibling rivalry, or, parents fussing at them, and the parents having an anger issue. So now it's rubbing off on the child, so it's big. It's big, but it's there's a need for it. I'll put it that way. There's a need for it.
Wow, that's a lot, man. It really is a lot.
It is, but I feel as though like I'm fortunate to want to do this, and that's just based off of experiences and the jobs that I've had. Like case management, teacher, tutor, mentor. Working with Department of Juvenile Justice. So it's like I've seen all type of, attitudes and anger issues and things like that from both sides of the spectrum with parents and kids. So I see where it comes from, but with that experience, I said I'm going to take a nosedive into this situation, because I feel as though with my program and when it really kicks off, I feel as though I have the better experience than other programs out there, because most people haven't been in these situations and have that experience. So I have full advantage because I've worked with kids forever. So that's just that's what I'm good at.
So let's tell the people about your program, C.A.L.M247.
So again, it's C.A.L.M, acronym for Control Anger, Limit Madness, 247, which is 24/7. So we want to kind of control that anger and limit that madness. We don't want it to fester. We want to try and get a handle, on this anger. And again, I chose to work with kids because you want to catch that at the beginning, and they're going through a lot. Aside from, COVID, they have that anger because everything is virtual now, and, things that they're seeing in the home. So you want to really get down to the root of, why is this child angry? Because we know the more they're angry and there's no assistance and there is no programs for them, that's going to lead to other things. I'm angry all the time. Okay, well, let me step foot out of my house with this anger and let me go and beat up this kid or this, that, and other because of that anger. But let's find out why you have that frustration and anger. And again, we look at kids like, well, I mean, you're angry because of what? Like, what bills do you have? What,
yeah.
I mean, if anything, I should be angry. I mean, this mortgage or this car note or this insurance, but you want to just really try and get to the root of, why kids are so angry, and let's try and control it, and limit it. So that was, that's my whole purpose, and I'll work with any child, from 6 to 18, because again, with research, that's when it starts. You want to tackle, a 6-year-old, an 18-year-old, and it's how their brain, functions. And we know that a preteen, now those hormones kick in and, you start developing, that individualism, and you want to kind of shy away from things you were doing before now you think you're a little grown, so you just want to, kind of put that at bay and get them to where they need to get to.
Okay, I have a question. Do you have any upcoming programs or workshops?
Well, the program is a goal right now. I mean, and once parents or different people in the community reach out, everything will be in person or Zoom, but as far as in person, I travel, to and from, however they want to set it up, or it could be through Zoom. And I basically will talk about what, C.A.L.M is all about. The different strategies and things like that I would be doing with the youth, and just different, mechanics and things like that will help them control that anger, and again, self-esteem, empathy, sympathy, compassion, just different things that kids would need to know as well as parents, and giving kids, space, not, hounding them about something that they may be going through. You have to be delicate, but, everything will be through Zoom in terms of different sessions, because, what I'm will be doing is, class sessions with groups. And again, I can travel, or it could be, through Zoom, and everything is COVID regulated, if I have to travel, or if it's, parents feel comfortable with Zoom, we go that route.
Are you transitioning from teaching full time to doing this only? This is the goal?
Right. That's the ultimate goal. I love teaching, but ultimately I saw this as a dream come true to start my own thing, so as the program progresses, not to say that I'm tiptoeing out of, the teaching realm, but it's still teaching nonetheless, but it'll just be strictly, my thing. And, I'm calling my own shots and, scheduling, but you're still teaching at the same time, because you're trying to still reach a goal of helping kids, get to where they need to get to. So, but yes, that's the ultimate goal.
Are you going to put this in any format, like where they can buy this online or download it, or just the live sessions is what you're dealing with?
Right. For right now, it's just going to be, the live sessions, because this is the, the beginning. But as it progresses, things will be where they can go and look at the, my website, once that is up and running, different links that parents can go to, read literature on, okay, well, my child was doing this. Well, let me hit the link to find out why and what I can do.
That's what's up.
I think we have a question on Mixcloud.
Got a question on Mixcloud?
Yeah.
Let's get to the cloud and see what's happening here. Yes, we do. How do I contact you? You want to put your contact information? I mean, you can see his Instagram right here live on the feed, but do you have, you want to put out a number for people to talk to reach?
Yeah, they could, 3 ways. So it's the IG, which is C.A.L.M. It's the acronym. So it's C.A.L.M247. That's the IG. They can also email me. It's rogers.delvin@C.A.L.M, one word, it's not in the acronym form, one word, -247.com.
Can you say it one more time?
Okay. Rogers.Delvin@C.A.L.M, not in the acronym form, just all together. C.A.L.M-247.com. And then if they want to reach out, in terms of giving me a phone call, that number is 305-684-5662.
One more time.
Okay, that's 305. That's 305-684-5662. 662.
And this is if somebody wants like private counseling, they can call you and reach out to you.
Right. If they want, if they want their child, to do sessions, just give me a call. We can discuss, price, for groups, one-on-one sessions, they can reach me, either way, all three ways, and we can discuss it. And if they want to, again, want to do it through Zoom, or if they want me to come out, either way, I can, travel or Zoom, whichever one is safest for them. I know a lot of people now would prefer Zoom, because of COVID, and that's understood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you're doing is very admirable. I commend you on that. Can we give him an applaud, please?
For sure. Brother, have you heard of OutSchool?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Have you heard of OutSchool?
OutSchool?
Yeah, it's an online site, and you can register and teach your classes through the site.
No, but I'll jot that down.
Yeah, I found it because my kid found a little Jedi class on there where they would teach them Jedi tricks, but the wife has signed up there to teach her virtual classes on there, and people can find you and you can organize your classes like that and do the Zoom classes. So,
definitely looking at that. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. We wishing you all the best.
Yes, thank you. Very informative, and we need to see a lot of brothers like you out there in the community doing stuff. Man, positive stuff.
I mean, it's an honor, because again, like I said, I didn't see a lot of programs out there, or the ones that I did see really, didn't cater to, these young men who really needed that extra push. They were just in the business of, okay, well, it's grant funded. I'm getting, funds from here. If that kid, decides to come to the program, if he doesn't, oh well, but
if he dies, he dies.
There's a morality, to the whole situation. You got to know what you're doing it for, and you got to really, have love for what you're doing, and like I said, I mean, I've always worked with kids, so it's just already in me to do something, that's needed in the community.
Yes.
Once again, a round of applause once again. So, brother, we're going to wrap this up. And like I said, we really appreciate you coming on. Yes. And we wish you all the best success. Anything we can do, you want to come on again to promote, reach out to us. And we'll definitely keep in touch and be checking to see your progress, and letting people know what's going on, because we need these type of things in our community.
Yes.
Absolutely, man. Again, it was an honor to be a part of the podcast, man. I thank you guys for allowing me to, not take up your time, but just give you a bit of, info on the program, and just putting my name out there.
Hey, man, it's the people's time. And you actually, you made it first, brother. You're the first male we had on here. It's been nothing but ladies on here doing their thing.
Yeah.
And you're the first one to come and represent for the brothers, so that alone deserves an applause.
Hey, man, hopefully this will, open up for, a lot of guys to, speak their truth or whatever. But it's nothing like being the first person. So,
Yeah, man. We got some brothers out here doing some positive stuff, man. And we trying to link everybody and let the world know and put it out there the best we can.
Absolutely.
So once again, man, we gonna get to the music. R.I.P. Prince Marky D. We're gonna play some Fat Boys, and
Fat Boys, man.
Thank you for coming out. Sit back and enjoy the rest of the show, and we'll be catching up with you. All right.
Sounds good.
It's the Here Goes Nothing podcast on your Friday night mix live stream. DJ Ron Do, your man Uncle Black, the Bricklayers. Here we go. And that was Delvin Rogers on there with us from C.A.L.M. We talked about anger management, and it was a very interesting podcast tonight. And a lot of people got some answers they were looking for. So, DJ, what you got for us now? Here we go. All right, that was very interesting.